Justice now.
Obstruction to justice. Obstruction to justice.
Justice now.
Well, welcome and thank you for joining another Obstruction to Justice broadcast. Woo! Where we discuss general information about relevant topics of the day, highlighting politics, economics, communities, and businesses. And today we're joined by Dr. Gina Ross, former congressional candidate for the U.S. House, Missouri District 6. Welcome, Dr. Ross.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm glad that you took time to come and chat with us a little bit. I know you're a busy lady and you have a lot going on, and we're definitely in support and very proud of you. Just want you to know that.
To God be the glory.
Isn't it about him? Most
It is.
certainly. Dr. Ross, Dr. Gina, look, now give us a little bit of background about who you are, and then what brought you to run for a political office? Hmm?
Well, Gina Ross from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm a native of Minneapolis. And I moved to Missouri in 2008. And this is when my journey here began. I raised my children. I have 3 grown adult children now. They all graduated from Platte County High School. And
Shout out to Platte County, huh?
yes,
Platte
yes.
County High,
Yeah,
yeah.
home of the Pirates. And so I'm an associate professor at Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and I adjunct with Baker University. Had some classes and certification with Asbury Theological Seminary in church planting and revitalization. And I also am starting a new venture of consulting churches and ministry.
Okay, well, that's what it's all about. I tell you, the thing about business, you have nonprofit business, political organization business, and all of that. But then you have God's business.
Yeah.
To me,
Well,
that's
yeah.
what's up. Because really, all of the challenges and all of overcoming challenges and the ideas and how to do good business. I think it's in the good book. I think it's in his Bible, his good book. So, right there, that's a book of success in itself.
If you take care of God's business, He'll take care of yours.
Take care of yours. Yeah. So, that consulting part of it, I think that's going to be right up your alley in that, because I've heard, and when I was watching your candidacy when you were running for the congressional seat, you weren't no holds barred. You weren't shy about sharing your beliefs and what you went through. Now, when did you? Now that was last year, so right, just
Yes,
so everyone knows, when that seat that came up for election last year, right?
yes.
Okay.
I
And
won the primary in August. And mind you, I was sick. Well, this time last year, just to rewind back,
mhm, mhm.
this time last year, okay, in February, I went to file to run for Congress. And then I started going to meet and greets. And somewhere about March 11th or so, I was going to a lot of meet and greets.
Mhm.
And someone spit had gotten to my eye. You know how you're talking to people, and we didn't have this mask mandate.
Right, right.
COVID was just brand new. And it's like by the 11th or so, I had this big old bump on my eye. It was just all nasty, red on the inside. I went to the eye doctor on the 16th, and I thought I might have had a sty or something. The eye doctor said it wasn't a sty. He didn't know what it was. Well, they gave me some eye drops and just told me come back in a few days. Well, that whole week, I just started feeling really weird and strange. Wasn't sure if it was my allergies or cold, because I have allergies, I have asthma. Wasn't sure what was going on. But then that second week, which would be this week right now, last year, I started getting worse. And that Thursday, last year, this time, so which would be tomorrow, I had called the clinic and I said, I'm feeling really bad and I don't know what's going on with me. The doctor said, oh, well, you probably just have a virus or something. And I said, well, can I get tested? And he was like, well, you probably don't need to, just rest. And then he said, have you been around people? And I said, well, I'm running for Congress and I've been on the campaign trail. And he said, we'll call you back in like an hour to have an appointment set up for you. Mm-hmm. So I got enough strength to go drive out to Shoal Creek to get that test, but I really didn't feel good then. I really didn't have any energy. I just pushed myself to go. And so once I came back, back in my room in my bed, just laying down, that Saturday, I just had gotten really worse. I mean, it was like I just was going downhill just really, really, really quick. I felt like a goldfish in a Ziploc baggie with no water, no air, and just gasping for air, fevers, everything. And so I called the hospital. I said, can I come get a breathing treatment? I said, because I'm really having problems breathing. And they were like, okay, do you need an ambulance? I said, no, by the time the ambulance will come, I might not make it. And so my daughter was here, but we had been apart from each other because she had just came in from Louisiana. But she drove me to the hospital. And I guess I was taking too long to get to the hospital. They called back to make sure that I didn't expire. And I said, no, I'm on my way. I'm really having problems walking. So fast forward, my daughter usually drives like 40 miles per hour. She drove about 80, and she had to just drop me at the door. And I just staggered in, fell in a wheelchair. They took me back. My name popped up positive with my test results from Thursday, placed me on oxygen. And the first thing they ask is, if you stop breathing, do you want us to resuscitate you? So that was my bout with COVID when I was hospitalized that first time for 4 days. So in April, I still had COVID. I had been released from the hospital, but I went to go get tested again, and my test was positive, and I was back sick with bronchitis and COVID in the hospital. But I didn't have a lot of strength at all. I mean, it was just horrible. But when I did have a little strength and medicine kicked in, I would just make a little video here and there just to talk to people because I was still campaigning. Some people wanted me to quit. Well, you don't need to run. Are you quitting? No, because you're telling me to quit. I'm really not going to. And I had faith over fear anyways. God, he kept me. He kept me to keep me. And so I ran that primary sick by myself, made my own website, and I won. And that was a shocker. And I raised less than $1,000. I only had 88 cents in my Congress checking account. When people kept trying to say it's all about the money, it's all about the money. Oh, well, you don't have no money. You might as well. Well, when God's on your side, you don't need all that money. I won the primary with 88 cents in my account. In that Congress account.
The tenacity of overcoming. Now, we know where that strength comes from. You're a believer, I'm a believer. We know where that true strength comes from. But that tenacity, and then the keeping power of who God is. Now, I'm just going to say, because here you had actually contracted COVID and was sick to the point of feeling as though you were going to expire. That's huge, and then yet pressing on and persevering in your heart, knowing, hey, we're not going to give up on this thing, and running a campaign from a hospital bed, a COVID hospital bed. Sister girl, yes.
And I was literally sick. But the thing that really kept me too is because I was by myself in the hospital, no visitors, no nothing, so I was praying. I had some blessed oil. I asked the nurse to get my purse so I could anoint myself. And I was watching clips from my church, church service, and just a lot of praise and worship. And that's where I got my strength from, and I wasn't in pain, but I was in pain, but I didn't let my pain and fear take over me. So I just pushed through because I'm a conqueror no matter what. I'm going to conquer. I believe in Romans 8:37 and 8. What is it? Nay, and all these things. We are more than conquerors.
More than conquerors.
So nothing's going to, more than conquerors. Right. Nothing's going to persuade me or stop me from, I was like, I shall not die, but live to declare the works of the Lord. That's what I was telling myself in the hospital. Some people are like, she's in the hospital, she's sick, and she's making videos. That's so my mom and my family, my children can know what's going on with me. And so everybody knows how to pray for me.
See,
I had intercessors.
There you go. Because having COVID, Shawan Owen says, hello, friend. And amen. Thank you, Shawan, for joining. Yeah, so the thing about having COVID, that especially at that time, there weren't any visiting opportunities, right? So
Right.
that's some wisdom. And people think that yes, there are private moments in life, and that could have been. Probably should have been a private moment, but when we're talking about the only way to communicate outside to let the family know, oh, that's very scary, but
I
very
wasn't gonna
brave.
try to hide. I wasn't gonna hide nothing because I wanted everyone to know when I come out,
Mhm.
God did that
Oh,
for
come
me.
on,
So if
and
he did
yes,
it for me, he can do it for you
he'll
too, or
do
for
it
your
for
loved ones.
others. Yes. And, I think that too, that also proved the point that if God will give you the strength, he'll give others the strength, not
Exactly.
just to, not just to overcome sickness, but to persevere with a thought and a process. When we do anything, businesses and anything that you do, it's not going to be an easy effort, right? Because if it were easy, then people say everyone would do it. And that's true.
But
You know,
sometimes we can make things look easy for people. They can see how I go through something. Oh, that ain't nothing. She ain't going through. You
mm,
don't know. You don't know my story. And
come
just
on.
because I don't look and show it, I don't look like what I've been through, but you're not going to see me sweat either.
Yeah, I understand that too. So, just kind of a little plug for business owners, consultants. The thing that I wrote an article a couple of years ago where I was sharing, it's like, look, hire a consultant. Do that. People think that they can just pick up and do in a specialty area or an area of where they think that they can just pick up and do. Well, that's what consultants are for. That's really what consultants do. They do what they do in a special way. So they do a focus on whatever it is that they do well, right? And then they offer the services. Well, then people want to balk at, well, I'm hiring a consultant, I'm throwing all this money away. Well, I don't think so. You're not throwing money away, because if it were that simple, if it were that easy to do, to acquire the skills, to acquire the knowledge, to overcome the obstacles, just as what we've heard here, then you'd be able to do it, right?
Right.
So I always say, I'm a campaigner. Hire a consultant. You're saying that you're going in to you have a consulting effort or a consulting uh, team or group that you're forming or what you're doing as a consultant. Yeah, do that. And, that's ASBNC training and consulting. We work on projects, and the point is people may try to make or think that well, it's easy to do. No, it's
Right.
not easy. We make it look easy because we've
Right.
been through the fire.
Right. Exactly.
we know we know what to do because we've overcome and things of that nature.
That's
So
right.
you ran the campaign. This is so exciting. You ran the campaign from your hospital bed. You continued to have that media open to where people were aware of your progress. They would know how to pray. Your family would know how well you're doing. Um, so when you did come out of the hospital and you got to feeling better, what was the progress or the process at that point?
Well, okay, so I finally got my two negatives in May. So it took from March until May to get my
Yeah.
negatives. So I was still weak like in May, but in June I gradually started going
Feeling
out a
better.
little bit to meet and greet, just a tiny bit.
Mhm.
I wouldn't overstay my time anywhere, but I wanted to show people if you invite me, I at least will press and come and greet you and talk to you and get to know the people, which I
Mhm.
really enjoyed. I met some wonderful people on the campaign trail. Some
Mhm.
I still keep up with now. And District 6 is a big district,
Now,
you know.
District 6, that's Platte County area?
Black
That's
County, Clay County. I mean, it's 36 counties. So I
okay.
was all the way up in Bowling Green.
Okay. Now, just
Yeah.
just an FYI, this is in the greater Kansas City, Missouri area. So for those who are watching outside, we have, people that listen to podcasts and everything. That's in the greater Kansas City, Missouri area, and it's a big district north of Kansas City, Missouri.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. I mean, the little small towns, Lynn County, Clark, was it Kirksville? I mean, so just all over Hannibal. But I had a wonderful time. And so even when I after the primary and I went on for the general election, I still went on to a couple places and just had a wonderful time with people. And I think they really gravitated towards me, the ones that came out and showed their support. And I thank everyone that supported me for my yard signs and everything else, because nothing wouldn't be possible without them with their financial support. I mean, I won't say nothing, but you know what I mean.
But still, it's about its community.
I thank
And,
God for them.
now just to know, guys, this community that's north of the greater Kansas City, Missouri area, it is predominantly European American.
91%,
Okay.
4% black,
See, you
and the
know,
rest of
so a predominantly European American, and we have great Americans everywhere. Okay,
yes.
and they're even still they were not discriminatory or racist in any form because she won. You won the primary in that. There were some votes there. There was support there. And in that, be encouraged, I would say, not to allow for those that are put on the platform or pedestal because they're hate mongers or angry people or racist or discriminatory type of personality people. Look, everybody's not like that in America.
I received a few little monkeys and stuff like that
Mhm.
on Instagram, but I shut that down real quick. I told them I'm not that one, so don't try
Okay.
it.
Okay. And so
Right.
you're going to get ugly anyway, anywhere. People, ugly
Right.
people, haters are going to hate because that's
Right.
what they do.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But it's like
Uh,
if you don't like it,
mhm.
you can keep it to yourself. Because you're not going to change my character. Because sometimes people mess with you to try to change your character.
Right.
What you see with me
Good
is what you get, and
point.
that's what I tell people. What you
Good
see is
point.
what you get.
Good point.
So
They're stereotypical, and I do want to say that they're stereotypical ideals about how an African American acts or African American females. Well, let's get them riled up. Let's get them to getting that neck moving and whatever, hand on the hip and all that. We're just trying to provoke to a negative response. But one thing about I know as a successful, I consider myself to be successful. I'm saved, okay?
mhm.
And we are successful in Him, okay? Is that there's some self control there, right? We
Yes.
don't have to respond to ugly. Yeah, as sometimes I do get, well, you're so articulate, you're so this and so, and I look and I'm like, well, what would you expect, right?
Right.
So
Right.
with that, kudos to just ignoring the silly. We don't even
Yeah.
respond, even through the years. One of the tactics that we have for those who want to get people riled up or who want to spread hate and fear, those organizations. It's not just the KKK anymore, but people of different undercover organizations and all of that,
Yeah.
just different
Yeah.
names. But we just ignore them. We don't support their rallies. We don't respond
No.
to any of that. We just ignore it because it's silly. It's
Yeah.
ugly and silly. And I'm not trying
Yeah.
to get myself riled up,
Right.
about
Right.
it. I think that if you can shut it down when you just show that it's not effective. Mm.
Right. There's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And I don't want to be a part of anyone's toxicity.
Yes, yes, there's lots of work to do. And
Mhm.
Dr. Gina, you are doing it. So we're talking about a year since you've been hospitalized with the COVID. Okay. And
Yes.
had the COVID twice, huh? That's what it sounds like to me. You had it, then went home, and then seemed like it crept up again and still overcame and persevered. So, in May and June, you were able to get out and
Got out and
share and
mingled a little
meet
bit.
meet and greet a
Yeah.
bit and let people know you were on the campaign trail. So,
Yes.
what happened at that point?
Well, it was just from traveling here and there. They said I would be very careful because I still have some restricted lung disease, a few little things that are left over post COVID, but for the most part, I'm okay. Just every now
Mhm.
and then my voice will leave, and I have asthma. So, just very careful. But just being out and building relationships with people, talking to people about unity. Where there's unity, there's strength, building a better tomorrow beginning today. We don't all have to like the same things, agree on everything, but we need to respect one another because we are the common denominator to make this a better place.
Yes.
And that was my story. That was my platform. Basically, I just wanted to make sure that all people were taken care of. I don't want to get into your personals, anything like that. I'm not interested in that. I just want the elected officials to do their job and represent the people that voted for you. Do your part, lead, follow, or get out the way.
Oh boy, yes. And one thing about race, I will say, people will talk about there's segregation issues and toxic personalities and all of that. I'm not going to support because they're of this race or that race. But we're all of one race. Believe it or not, we are of the human race.
Exactly. Well, I told some on the trail because I was told some places I couldn't go because of the
Mhm.
color of my skin. And I'm like, please don't judge me by the color of my skin because my great great grandfather was a white slave owner. I said, so we could be related. I could be your cousin. I
Could
just got a little
be.
brown on me because my father was dark skinned. And
You
then they kind
know,
of laugh. It kind of just breaks the ice, but I'm telling the truth. I
it
said,
is
when
true.
it comes down to it, we all need oxygen to breathe, eyes to see, ears to hear, legs to walk. We use the bathroom the same
Most.
way. You got to go. So it's like you need blood running warm through your veins, or otherwise you wouldn't be alive. So what's the big deal? It's like stop
Mhm.
all this tripping and let's just get together and let's just take care of, make sure that everyone has health care, education, the agriculture, the stuff for the farmers, and just the needs that we need, affordable housing, just a slew full of things. But
Mhm.
and there's a way to work it together. I just was sick of people, not people, but the parties,
Right.
both of them, when I was running, because it's like you all are sitting here, you're bickering at one another. You're on a power struggle. You're on your own agenda. You're
Mhm.
not helping us.
Mhm.
Even for myself, I was told from someone within the party that if I didn't hide my church videos, I wasn't going to get any donations from the major donors. And I said, because I'm staying true, then don't give because
Mhm.
I'm not hiding my videos. I'm not hiding
No.
who I am. I am a born again believer. I am sanctified. I attend a Pentecostal Church of God in Christ. And that's all there is to it. And I was told, well, your opponent might make fun of you guys jumping around and shouting. Well, let him go ahead.
Oh
That's
my
on him.
goodness. If they
That's
want to
on
come
him.
that way,
Yeah,
and
I'm not
that they
hiding
would
nothing.
embarrass themselves,
Yeah,
right? I believe they would embarrass themselves in that way.
exactly.
If someone is that sincere about their God and the way that they worship, yes, it is private, but we are public as well in that we go everywhere and we declare the name of the Lord
I'm
and
not
the gospel
ashamed.
of Jesus Christ. We're
God's
not
been good to
ashamed,
me. I'm
hasn't
still
he?
alive because of him. So why
Come
would I
on.
hide
Why?
anything? Why would I hide his goodness, mercy, and grace towards me because of what someone else doesn't believe? If y'all can believe whatever you want and try to throw it all out there, then you're going to accept who I am in my religion. I'm not
You
trying
know,
to shove it down your throat, but this is who I am. So
uh-huh.
respect that.
Let's do it. Let's respect.
Respect that.
Now you were saying, the candidacy, yes, the different candidate or parties. You have the bigger parties, the two large ones, right? The
Right.
Republican and Democratic party. And my take on all of that, Republican or Democrat, was, well, do you want it in the head or do you want it in the gut? You want to get head punched or you want to get gut punched? But it's going to come one way or another, because of the idealism to where it just seemed as though the candidates and the parties were just all about the power struggle.
Yeah, it was a power struggle. It wasn't about us at all. It
Hmm.
wasn't about we the people. It was
Hmm.
about them, their power, their title, their
Hmm.
position.
Hmm.
We didn't matter.
Yeah.
We didn't
So
matter at
you
all.
on that campaign trail, you receive votes for and won the primary, uh, and support, monetary support, and
Yeah.
even without all of the big dollars, right? you were still
I,
successful.
I was satisfied.
Yep.
I didn't need a whole lot.
Hmm.
All I needed was the main thing to help me get the signs and help me get the word out. And
Right,
most of the
right.
time, I use social media.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, I didn't do no phone banking. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't do any of that. I didn't do no mailings because I didn't have money to pay for all that. And if we were in a pandemic, so I didn't want to bother anybody about,
Hmm.
pestering people. Like I felt like I was being pestered when my phone kept jumping with these texts to go donate and give. And when I kept
Hmm.
getting texts, I will reply back and say, "Are you going to give to my campaign?"
Yes,
I
yes.
did do that. I would text them my link.
That and it's about letting people know too, the sales
You
part.
asking me, I'm gonna
Don't be
ask you.
ashamed. Look, this is your cause. Well, this is mine. Maybe you're interested in my
That's
cause.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
most
I must have
definitely.
had God's favor because my opponents, they raised like lots of money. I
Mhm,
didn't have lots of money. All I had was me and God and my truthfulness. I stayed
mhm,
true. And
mhm,
people could see my sincerity because I really want change. And I still want change.
mhm.
And I didn't win the general election because like my area is mostly red. I ran as a Democrat. And but my values are not all of that. I'm
Mhm.
like somewhere, whatever is best for the people. That's totally
Yes,
what I'm for. But
yes.
I had a little over 30% or 31% of the vote. So to be broke, as some would say, like I read this news article and said that she raised less than 10,000. Well, did you know that I almost died in the hospital? So I think I did pretty good.
Yes, you
And
definitely
for my
did.
first time.
Y
And when people talk, it's like, oh, she this, but what are you doing? At
Mhm,
least I'm
mhm.
bold and brave enough. You can call me the modern day Esther because I'm going to open my mouth. I'm going to cry loud. I'm spare not. I'm going to tell whatever needs to be told. People need to hear the truth, and the truth will make you free. It'll set you free if
Yes.
you want to be.
If you wanna be.
If you want
And
to be,
being that voice too, I think that there should be balance. I do.
there
I
should
believe there
be.
should be balance, with all of the noise and the negativity and the fight and the power struggles, there should be someone to say, "Hey, well, what about the people?"
They
So
need a referee.
you were that candidate and went
I
in
tried.
and did that for the people and won the primary, right? And did your part and went on. Now, the uh, the end of the story when we're talking about, well, okay, so you went through, won the primary. Well, what happened after that?
After the primary, it was
Mhm,
all working towards the general election. But let me
mhm,
rewind back with after I won the primary,
mhm,
my opponents. I wanted us to work together as a team. So as much as I could, I would have my opponents. We'd be together.
mhm,
Charles West, Henry, he would participate a little bit. Donald Sartain got him to take a picture. So I wanted people to see, even though we are opponents against each other, that
mhm,
we still were working together because we had a common cause. So again, where there's unity, there's strength. So even like when I was out at another location, three hours away, Charlie West, he came and he was there with me. When I went to St. Joe, Henry, he came out. So it wasn't like it was just me anymore. I had my so-called opponents, but we became a team. So if we could work together and we, glean off each other, iron sharpens iron, we
yes,
felt like we could do this. So we
yes.
tried to build a team.
And
Teamwork makes the dream work.
teamwork does make that dream work, doesn't it? And that's kind of what this particular administration has done as well, right? So you have President Biden, and then he invited Carmelita Harris, the vice president, to come to be vice president, right?
Mhm.
Who was on the same Democratic Party, and then come in and come together and be a part of the team. Shawan says, motivation. You ladies are awesome. And thank you, Sister Shawan. We appreciate that. And God is awesome. And thank you for the
Yep.
compliment. And
God be the glory.
to
I the
God be the
glory.
glory. Yes, thank you for the compliment. And yes, this lady she's doing a great work. It going on it when you're for the young person that maybe there's a young person out there that's saying, okay, well, I want to do something. I like politics, or I'm interested in politics. How would you direct a young person to come along and participate and do and walk out their dream or goal of maybe being involved in politics?
If it's something you want to do, just get right in it.
Hmm.
Google names and see who you can help and volunteer, and you can learn that way. I teach American government too, so like some of my students, they're just amazing. They crack me up. They never want to leave when class is over. But I have libertarians, I have Republicans, I have all different parties in my class, and just to see how they all interact with one another. And I tell them you're free to have your opinion. But so for a young person, if you want to get involved, get involved. Chase your dreams. Excuse me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just chase your dreams.
Chase
Go
your
for it.
dreams. Go
Look
for
up a
it.
party who you want to work with, who has values that you believe in, and
Hmm.
and just ask, can you take an internship?
Hmm.
Anything of that nature.
That volunteering is it's more in this society of what's in it for me, um, type of attitude. Volunteerism isn't all that popular to say, well, I have to, but if volunteers still work, and if you really want to do it, work, and then the payment comes from what we talked about, the
Yep.
knowledge base,
Yep.
growing and being around the information and making connections and networking with the people. That's the payoff in it. You
It
can't
is.
it's a way to where you're not spending a whole lot of money on an education or a piece of paper, a degree, college degree, that you come out and you're still wondering, well, what's going on? There's theory of education, which we teach and yourself, but then there's practicum, getting out there and beating the pavement, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
And making it happen. Yeah, that's that, volunteer and get around people that are like-minded and doing what it is you're wanting to do. That's good. That's good advice on that.
Well, and I
So,
had like a student from Mizzou.
mhm,
He just made my logo for me just as a volunteer. He sent it, asked, did I like it? I'm like, and I loved it.
mhm,
So, he did some other stuff for me. And that's how he got involved. And he's a student in political science at Mizzou. His name is
mhm.
Dylan. Really awesome.
Shout
You
out to
know,
Dylan.
yep, shout out to
Good.
Dylan
Thank you,
Britton.
Dylan.
So,
Yeah.
it's like just say, I want to help. You see
Mhm,
someone you want to work with, I'm interested.
mhm,
How can I help? How can I be a part?
mhm.
And
Taking
those that
those
are looking for
skills.
money, if
Yeah.
they have those that want money, if you can raise money to raise your own salary, then hey, if you're motivated like that as a salesperson and you're good at what you do, go for it and raise your own salary. Being a campaign manager.
Sure. Wow. That right there is a thought, getting out there, that's a sales skill, campaigning,
Yep,
being a
fundraising,
campaign
grassroots,
fundraising.
organizing.
There you go. Skills that you can't really learn in a classroom, but getting out there and making it happen
Yep.
is what's up. That's what's going on there. So you were on the campaign trail. You were able to network and bring in those other candidates, and you worked as a team. They supported you in your effort to run and to win the seat.
Yep.
And what happened from there? What's going on?
Well,
What happened?
after the election, then,
Mhm.
that was it. I kind of thought I was done. I'm like, well, I can breathe, glad it's over. But because people were like, well, you didn't win. When someone like, well, you still win. I felt like I won anyways because my win doesn't have to look like somebody else's win. The only way you fail is by not trying. So, I tried. So I
That's
won.
right. Good.
I made it to the end and I survived.
Yes. You can't win it if you ain't in it. Now that's not
Exactly.
proper English, but that's what I
Exactly.
say. You
But
can't
it's the
win it if
truth.
you ain't in it.
You
You
have to get
know,
in.
you have to
And
get in
so,
there.
yeah. So
Hmm.
now it's like I'm on to my next venture.
Speaking of next ventures,
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't
uh,
going to. I thought I was done. I'm like, oh, no, I'm done with all this stuff just because of, all the craziness that was going on
hmm,
during the election. But I'm like, you know what? Someone still needs to try to bring people together,
hmm,
for reconciliation, reformation, government reform. stop this party fighting at each other. We need forgiveness. People might be like, we don't want to hear all that. They did wrong. Well, you did wrong too. Two wrongs don't make a right. So let's just get together, like the cake mix the ingredients, and let's see how we can move forward and build that better tomorrow, beginning today. So I'm going to run for U.S. Senate 2022. Yes.
Congratulations. Congratulations on that decision.
Thank you. That's a big one.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Why
it's
go?
all
Why
big.
go backwards? I'm just going forward. I only have one life to live, and I'm living with no regrets.
Wonderful. Now, let me just show the website here, right? So here
Yes.
you go. This is the website.
I
Hmm.
just put it together yesterday, so I still got to add some more stuff and get my donate button actually working. But this is what I put together my own website until I can do better.
Well, I think that it looks great, and it does gives information here. So you have your home tab, of course. You have your about tab, and you want to learn more about the candidate for the U.S. Senate. Hmm?
And if you want to volunteer, but you have to be a person of honesty and integrity because character counts. I don't want no one that's messy and have a whole nother agenda. I'm for peace, and then you go behind my back and trying to do dirt and all this stuff. Because, see, I have to live after the election is over with. So I don't like none of that stuff, and I don't need it. So if you're not that type of person that is true and honest and don't have a heart to serve, then leave me alone in advance.
All
That's
right.
my disclaimer.
Okay. Okay. Well, now and that's a good disclaimer, so people can't say, "Well, I don't know." I don't know. So
I told you so.
you
Right here.
you mentioned it. You said it loud and clear there. Now, what when you're running on your so when you were running before, it was about, of course, the causes for everyday Americans to have someone to speak for them and the concerns that Americans have, including health care. So, what is it that you're wanting to speak for in this U.S. Senate race?
It's still the same.
Hmm.
It's still the same causes, but we need some government reform and some reconciliation. We need good leadership. That's what we need right now. We
Hmm.
need leadership with integrity. We need people to work together and stop fighting one another and represent the people that elected you. Even if they didn't elect you, you need to be able to represent all parties, all people.
Hmm.
Leave nobody left behind. And what's for our livelihood, so people can thrive instead of just surviving or living paycheck to paycheck, or picking prescriptions over their mortgage or whatever the case may be. We just should all be able to be taken care of because we are United States citizens and we all pay taxes. And it
Hmm.
shouldn't have took this long for people to get stimulus checks.
Well, that stimulus check, I don't know, as far as categories and what they're looking to do for people to get the stimulus check out there, but I know that it hit pretty quick for some. But I
But in
hear
the
you.
beginning, people were really complaining, like people were losing their jobs and small
Hmm.
businesses were being closed down.
Yes,
That
I
was really
see.
bad. That's what I'm talking about.
I
You
see.
know, that
Hmm.
right there.
Hmm.
Not so much about just getting the money, but people needed help, and that help
Hmm.
was not there. So that lack of help and that loophole in the help made people struggle more than they probably would have if they would have had just a little bit of assistance or something,
Hmm.
some little cushion to help
Hmm.
people not to just fall out and just
Yeah.
lose.
Well, I
You
think
know,
even economically speaking too, and I may have made mention of this before on one of the other broadcasts that you had the small businesses that needed the funding, the loans, but then you were hearing reports about huge mega corporations getting loans and funding during the COVID, so the business loans as well. So the small business guy, it was like no money left because it was
right.
distributed to the big, huge companies. So and I think that even during that time, some of us went out and applied and were denied for
Right.
whatever reason. But still, and then you get an email, hey, you qualify, or to let's apply for this other business loan that's coming up, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Are
Doesn't
we
really
close?
seem like what's the real criterion for applying for the loans and being successful at receiving the loans. That was always a big deal. What's the real criterion, and how do you do it? Which you apply through this organization or that one, and you would make this phone call, and that it was like a big revolving circle. And then a lot of the
Right.
money was sent to organizations that already had grip and
Right.
their hands on it, and it's like you had to jump through the hoops with them. Maybe you didn't have to
Right.
jump through the hoops with the SBA. Well, you have to jump through hoops and everything.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, free money. No one wants to just throw away the money. People should be responsible for it since it is considered a
Right.
loan. But it
Right.
was a big, big ordeal to where I just said, just forget it. Never mind.
Right. But
Never
it shouldn't
mind.
be like that. It should have been easily accessible for all
Should have
people,
been.
for
It
all
should have been.
businesses, no matter if it was a new business, small business, medium business, they should have been taken care of first
It
and
should have
foremost, I
been.
believe. But
Yeah.
it should have been enough for everyone to go around, get your financial team, allocate and budget and make it work.
For sure. Now, so environmental equality, healthcare. Now, if people still now you're if you want to send in your email, it looks like your subscribe form is there where you can send in an email to submit requests. So if you send your email over there, definitely the Ross for U.S. Senate team will get back with you and contact you and get you going. That's what it looks
It's
like to
just me
me.
for now,
Yeah,
but
that's hey, we
but
we
I will
don't.
respond. I
Yes,
do respond.
and I bet that's we don't despise small beginnings.
No,
And I think
no,
that that's something that all of us, no matter where you are within business or endeavor, whether it's a new endeavor, whether it's one that you have worked with and continue to work with, you've been working with it for years, there's ebb and flow in life and everything
mhm,
in business. So just to let you know, guys, don't be discouraged. Right? If you're
no,
starting out small, or if you're small, then you got real big and good looking, and then all of a sudden it fell, and now you're small again, and you're having to grow. Just be patient. It is
yeah,
a part of life.
yes,
And
it is.
doesn't see we don't put who we are. I don't put my identity on how much money I make. I don't do
Right.
that because money, did make me,
No, it
and
didn't.
money won't be able to break me, right?
No,
So we
that's
want to
right.
put our identity and who we are as human beings, as of course, definitely the Christian, being a Christian business person, believer. So that's what we
Let your
put our
light
trust
shine.
in.
Let
Let
your
it
light
shine
shine. Be a
for
beacon
sure.
light. Because
For
you can help and
sure.
motivate someone else and always try to smile at somebody because you
Hmm.
never know what they're going through. And that smile, that warm, kind hello or whatever can make somebody's day. You just never know. So it's kind to be kind.
It is kind. It's a good thing, and it is kind to be kind. Yeah, most definitely. Now, I do want to show if you want to contact Dr. Ross, she does have a Twitter page that you can check out as well, and check out what's going on her Twitter feed there. So let me share that. I think this is just the neatest, the cutest
Oh, that's my
picture.
Facebook,
Oh, is this the face? Well, it says
unless they connected some kind of way.
and they may have. Here's
Oh,
maybe the
maybe it is
feed.
my Twitter.
Yeah, this is the Twitter I'm seeing. A little tweet bird there.
Okay.
Little tweet bird. And
Oh,
yes, I see your picture there. And if you'd like to follow her, definitely go out there and follow. And of course, you made mention that you ran your campaign through a social media, that social media played a big, big part
it did.
in your success in
It
that.
really did. It really did. I
Mhm.
used TikTok even with my daughter when we TikToked for the young
Mhm.
people. You know, you got
Mhm.
to try to meet all ages. Oh, and by the end of this week or maybe next week, I'm not the best singer in the world. I don't even claim to be a singer, but I am coming
She
out with my
sings.
own
She sings.
pandemic. No, I know, especially after COVID. It's like, but
It'll
I
be
have
all
my
right.
own pandemic album that's coming out from songs that I wrote during this time being quarantined and pandemic is called pandemic praise. Corona didn't stop my worship. And
Oh
so
my
I wrote all these
goodness.
songs and it's getting fixed up for me. So it'll be on iTunes and whatever. I sound like a baby, just so you know. A lot of off little notes because I lose my breath and I lose my voice, as I was saying at the beginning. But
Mm.
it's the voice that I have left, and I'm just grateful to be alive. So in everything, give thanks. No matter what it looks like. No, you might be struggling on something, but no matter what, just hold on and just hang in there, stay in the press, and God will see you through. Or if you
Most
don't believe in Him, whoever
definitely.
you believe in, but just hang in there and be encouraged. A delay is
Yes.
not a denial if you don't have everything that you want right now in this life. But just be grateful that you have breath in your body and you are above ground, above 6 feet.
Yes. Definitely, definitely good words of support there, good words of encouragement. Now, so is that where these pictures are from? These images
Yeah,
here
in the studio.
in the studio. That is
Been
so
here by
cute.
myself with the producer, the person that the engineer, but
Mhm.
I'm just in there out of breath, killing his ears, but and I'm humorous too. I'm just very human. I have my
Yes,
own personality. I don't switch up for nobody. Sometimes people look like you have a PhD and you act like that. This is my personality. I love people and I want to be who I am. My degree, my evangelist license doesn't make me. I am who I am. God made me who I am.
that's
And
right.
I'm just, most of the time, I'm just a little happy person
And
in
that's a
my
good thing.
sanctified soul.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Be happy.
Yep.
There's enough in life to tear us down, and there's enough that's going on to discourage us. But shout out and big prayers to the hard workers, those that were working at the groceries store there in Colorado, and they lost
Yeah.
their lives. First thing that I thought about was, oh my goodness, people just going in to make a living, mm, doing the right thing and showing up and working with their own hands. And then they met the fate of today. And we just want everyone to know that we are praying. I prayed, and we're praying for you, the families, to be comforted during this time. And, as far as, it's a big, I haven't talked with you about the subject, but, now there's always a big to do about gun control. Now, before you say anything about that, what your opinion is, or where you go with that, where you lean, uh, guns don't kill people. People kill people. They use the gun. A gun is a tool. And I will say that I think that as long there should be some type of checks and balances. If
For
we can
sure.
do a more as far as bureaucracy and to help, and not in a bad, it's not a bad word, right? But to help and to make sure that people are doing what they need to do in
Right.
registering and knowing who has
That's
what.
it. That's it.
I think that is a good thing to do. And, but as far as taking all of the guns out of, denying the right to have a
The Second
weapon,
Amendment, it's
I don't
not going
think
to
that's
fly.
a good idea.
Not going to fly.
Yeah. Because truth of the matter is, and I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I know that we all should be prepared, mainly to have the right relationship and ourselves right in right standing with our Creator. I believe that's most important. But if
Most.
we have to take a stand here, a stand or the ground against the true enemy of whoever tries to invade, not just not against each other, right? Not in a stand your ground against each other. It's more, we're Americans. We're here, But for those that would come and try to invade the country, then what will we do? We're just here. No one has a weapon. And why do we call the police? But, help. I need help. Bring a gun, right?
Right, right.
So what do we do? It's a lot. But what do you think about that? The gun control, that everyone is now on the bandwagon again because of the horrific tragedy, the evil situation that happened in Colorado.
Yeah. The Second Amendment is the Second Amendment, but again, there should be background checks.
Mhm.
If they need to take longer, let them take longer. People that have mental health issues or a
Yes.
history of it, they shouldn't be able to get a gun. Someone that has been to court for domestic violence and been threatening their significant other with a gun in the past or anything like that, they don't need one. But there should be checks and balances, like you
Yes.
said.
Mhm.
You need that extensive background check,
Mhm. Mhm.
really. And all these people that have guns aren't just getting them on their own. Someone else
Mhm.
is getting them and giving it to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know if you can ever stop it, but if you see someone with a gun, then I mean, sometimes like what happens, like that happens so quick, you just don't know. But that's why you need to have eyes and ears on the walls, on the
Mhm.
towers, and
Mhm.
just watch as well as pray, because you
Mhm.
never know.
Mhm.
You never know.
Yeah,
But you
that
can't take away people's guns.
I don't think you can. I wouldn't want that to be mandate. And there's a lot going on, guys, a lot going on. And I will say, uh, candidate, candidate Dr. Gina, that you are definitely. We do have the right person that's going to go and speak for the people, and we just really do look for you to do well and support, guys. uh, uh, Kareem Jackson, hey sis, here in Asia and watching it from the Philippines Islands. So
Hello.
yeah, so he's there, Kareem Jackson, and we've had him on the broadcast. He's a dynamite entrepreneur, does ebooks and just a lot, has a big voice for businesses, and especially representation of African American businesses around the world. He says it's so much safer here. This is Kareem Jackson. It's so much safer here, almost a zero crime rate, only bad police or simple cell phone thefts. So that's what he has to deal with in the Philippines. That's pretty darn good. Yeah.
I have some students from New Zealand in my American government class.
Mhm.
They totally think America is crazy. And when we have our discussions, they're just like, they can't believe it. They said in their country, whatever the prime minister says, that goes, no ands, ifs, or buts about it. You just do as is. You don't say, but this is my right. They said that would
Mhm.
never work. So they're just amazed at how we are and they think we're nuts. But they
Mhm.
play softball for the school. And so they're glad to be here and to learn about us.
Sure.
But we got
But
to do better in the country.
that's a good point. Now, Mr. Kareem Jackson there in the Philippines, he says, "Hey, they have little to no crime there, and here in New Zealand, uh, folks there think that we're crazy here because there's so much crime. It's not America. We are the land of the free and the home of the brave,
But
but
we're in
we have."
bondage.
Yeah, we have a lot of issues. We have a lot of issues to deal with. And it's good. I'm looking forward to your success with your political endeavor to run and successfully win the candidacy and do what you need to do so that you can be a voice for the people. And we will definitely be praying and voting and donating and encouraging all of those things that need to happen. Uh, Brother James Ambler Sr., he says a lot of guns are put back on the streets by police
Yeah.
departments. That's what he feels about it. Well, it could be. I remember back in the day. Now we're on gun control here. there was a big campaign here in the greater Kansas City area. Kansas City, Missouri Police Department was they were collecting guns. They were collecting guns. They said no questions asked. Just bring it. Just bring it to us. And that's an interesting thought. And that was what the police campaign was all about: collecting the gun. And that they considered it successful. But here again, we're still dealing with people and not making the right decisions when it comes to guns
A
and
lot of mental
everything.
health issues, a lot of
Mental
things.
health issues, that's huge.
A lot of prayer is needed,
Mhm.
and there's corruption on every side.
Yeah, there
So
is.
stay
There is.
prayerful.
We do have to stay prayerful, and we will
Watch as well
definitely.
as pray.
That's what he says, watch and pray.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. So we're just gonna, do our best to hang in there. We will be victorious, but I think that you're a very brave person, a brave woman. Now, I did have a question as far as the
Yes.
seat that you ran for the U.S. The
Congress.
Congress seat.
Yes.
Now, were you the first minority person to run for that seat in that
First
area?
female to run and win in this area. Yes.
Okay. Very.
Historical moment.
That's what I was thinking. Very historical. And even
Yeah.
now, are we looking as far as the Senate? What are we looking as far as the Senate? Is that
I
going to
believe I'll be
be
the first
you'll be the
area.
first
Yes.
female?
Yes, I believe so.
Mm-hmm. First female. And so hats off and shout outs to you, kudos. And so be encouraged, sisterhood, and then of course brotherhood. I know y'all be putting it down and getting work done and be busy about it, but you can cast your vote with a donation, cast your vote to volunteer some. I
You can
think
come
that.
out on the trail with me. Come out and take some road trips with me if you like, any of you.
Oh,
I
road
had a
trips.
good time.
I'm just getting excited. I'm like, oh yes. And
Sister Burton came with me on one.
oh, did she?
Yeah.
Okay. James Ambler says congratulations.
Tell them thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Yeah. So for sure, I think that we do need new young. I consider you a young person. Okay. Our president is on the senior side, and but Carmelita Harris, Ms. Ms. Harris, she the vice president. She's a little younger. She's got some years to where she can work it out, and I think that's what's going to be important too. We want to get to those that can, if the Lord tarries. I always do say that if the
Whatever
Lord
his will
tarries,
is.
let's make sure that we establish a good foundation for young people, and yes, to have a voice and to put a person in in the political arena that will be a voice for you and a support for the community. That's what's up. That's what's going on. So hats off to you, and we do appreciate you.
God be the
And
glory.
as you go along, if you will, come back and share with us what it is that share with us how things are going, right?
Most
So
definitely.
I would love to have you back. And, if there's any time you want to do a big chat or make another big announcement, oh, yes, please come by, stop by and do that. Stop by and do that. And we'll look forward to it. All right.
Thank you
Yes,
very
thank
much.
you. Thank you. And thank you for joining. Just keep if you share the link and share what's going on so that people can also hear this great announcement about this wonderful woman doing her sharing her gifts and what she does well, and that's speaking up for the rights of people and the consulting that she's going to be doing. Yeah, share the link, spread the word, and be encouraged about what you're doing. Hey, it's not easy. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. But you have the strength, huh? We'll see you
Amen.
next time.
Obstruction now. Obstruction now. Justice.
justice. Obstruction to justice. Obstruction to justice. Justice now.